primarily because of a growing conviction that both the quality and the quantity of our teaching is being directly affected by an ever-worsening discipline problem both in the classroom and about the school.
Why is there this lack of discipline?
Well, to a certain extent, it probably stems from inadequate legislation, and I refer, of course, to the compulsory attendance law, which makes it mandatory that a child attend school through the age or up to the age of 18. I believe that principals could be at least improve the situation if that statute were amended.
Well, do the teachers always have control of the students in the classroom?
No, unfortunately not.
Can't the teachers then take the students to the principal's office?
Well, of course they can, but having taken them to the office, usually the offenders are giddily laughing about the halls shortly after the incident, which prompted the teachers taking them to the office, and in effect they're flouting school authority.
Will this lack of discipline of students have any effect on the teachers?
In my opinion, it definitely will, because from time to time they've indicated that an unwillingness to return to the teaching profession next year in the event it persists.
Do you have a solution to the problem of school discipline?
I believe I do. I think perhaps the most constructive thing that could be presently done would be to amend the compulsory attendance law.
And that would mean what then in simple terms?
It would mean simply that students much earlier in their high school years or even junior high school could be removed if they were found to be incompatible with the student body or who were disinclined to absorb any amount of education.
Even if this were not done, are there any other forms of remedial action that could be taken under the present law?
Yes, I believe that perhaps a centrally located school to accommodate chronic offenders as a kind of point of no return from which they would go to Stringtown or other state institutions.
One example is the incident in which rocks were thrown through the gymnasium or dressing room windows while several players were in there after a game dressing to go out. These rocks could have hit these students, injured or killed them. This is not only degrading the school, but it is showing disrespect to the students.
Was there any investigation made of this?
Some, sir. A slight reward was offered for any information leading to the apprehension of these persons or something similar to that.
Last year we had instances of a female teacher trying to discipline a student, was struck by the student and was cursed by the student. This year we've had the same thing. We've had students ganging up on teachers. We've had gang fights. First-year teachers have had a very difficult time establishing respect among their pupils and having any ability to control them at all.
Well, I haven't been to any other school, but I know that it is worse than some schools that I have attended.
You mean you've gone to schools in other cities or other states?
Well, I have attended one other school here in the city.
Well, now, would you class the situation that the school that you now attend, U.S. Grant, would you class that as just a normal situation, bad, or how would it fall?
Well, I think I'd class it as bad.
Now, what will be the result of that study?
A report will be prepared setting up our findings, and in bodying our recommendations for improvement of the situation down here. This report will possibly be illuminating some people because it will go into the very diverse court picture down here, which is quite complicated, I find. Possibly as complicated as any state I've ever worked in. It has special courts set up for special cities. It has the justice of the peace system besides all the municipal courts. And there are several types of those with varying jurisdiction.
Well, in addition to what you've already mentioned, what have you noticed that seems unusual?
Well, I've only been on this the last 2 days, we'll say. The most unusual thing I've noticed so far is this $20 maximum that can be assessed as a penalty in the municipal courts. That is for violation of ordinances. I would say the trouble with that $20 maximum is that it's not adequate. Not an adequate deterrent to deter people from violating.
Well, are strong penalties in themselves any answer?
Not the entire answer. A penalty, if it's certain and definite, not necessarily severe, but if it's definite and certain, serves as a deterrent, and we know that.
I was very surprised. I saw 20 names on it, and my name signed to the paving petition, and I did not sign the petition. And I filed a sworn affidavit that my name is forged on that petition. It's a peculiar situation when 20% is required, and there are 4 forged names out of 20%. It seems that if the paving is so necessary that a legitimate 20% could have been obtained in favor of it.
I would like very much to see it paved, and I don't know, nobody's ever given me an estimate of what it would cost. Only I signed for it, and what it cost I'm willing to pay.
Mr. Stirling, is there any action the city can take against Mr. Ryan, the man who passed these petitions?
No, the only action that could have been taken is to revoke his license, but his license actually ran out in December anyway, so he doesn't have a license to be a petitioner.
Well, is it possible that the city could turn this information over to the county attorney and that he could make a case against the man?
Well, it depends upon what the information is. We have certainly prima facie evidence that some signatures were incorrect on the petition, but perhaps he put them in himself, perhaps someone else saying that they were Mr. Jones, we'll say, wrote a name in, said, I'm Mr. Jones, and that hasn't been determined, and he was not here this morning. He was requested to be here, but he was not here, so we haven't heard his side of it at all.
So he is responsible for submitting ballot petitions, but if they are invalid, you can't definitely say that it's his fault.
That's right. Although he does take an oath, he states that the signatures are correct, and he signs his name to that.
Well, will you continue to look for him or pursue this point with him any further?
No, as far as we're concerned, we invited him to come to the meeting, and he did not show up, and the facts are just the way they have been stated.
Well, I understand by the audit that the auditors charged off $405,000 that this corporation, Selected Publications Incorporated, owes Selected Investments.
You don't feel that you owe them, your company owes them that money?
Yes, we did owe the money.
Anymore?
This money was contracts that we had sold Selected Investments Corporation for business that we had solicited and received from 9 states in this area.
Well, what prevented you from paying it?
Well, we were making money up until the summer of 1955, and we had been doing business for several years with Selected Investments Corporation. In fact, we had 300 employees on the payroll here in Oklahoma City, and in the summer of 1955, the Illinois Bell Telephone Company went into federal court and filed a copyright infringement lawsuit, enjoining us from carrying on our business. I don't know what the recourse would be. We feel like that it is unfair business practices, that they've run a small business, out of existence. We have appealed to congressmen. We have appealed to state agencies. We have a petition on file with the Corporation Commission, which has been there 2.5 years and has never been heard. We've done everything that we can. We are without funds for a legal remedy to go into court.